The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all the politicians of Fall River, especially the 6th floor of the Fall River Government Center, this is the Spindle City Straight Talk for Monday, June 5th, 2017. I'm Patrick.
And I'm CJ, and Chip is out doing his retirement board stuff out on the Cape. It's amazing how much time he takes off. I never even get a vacation day.
That's because you're the only one with a key to the studio.
I wish. Oh God, this has been the dullest week politically. Nothing's been going on. It's all
you know, when you give Hildenbrand Camara $86,000 job after 6 years of doing nothing. 84, 86. I mean, at that point, who cares? The guy hasn't had a job in 6 years. So, you know, the minute I saw that and heard his resume has a 6-year gap, I came to the conclusion it's one of 4 things. He hit the lottery, he got a workers' comp settlement, he got a wrongful termination settlement, he was in drug rehab, or he's in jail. And of course, the last 2 we checked out, and there's no record of Mr. Camara ever being arrested or being in a drug rehab facility. So now we have to check the court dockets and see where he got a settlement, either workers' comp or civil wrongful termination or something.
Or maybe he just didn't want to work.
Yeah, you know,
he could be just a regular Fall River right who doesn't want to work.
That's true.
I mean,
or he could, you know, he could have got a lottery ticket in some other state that doesn't have to report, because obviously in Mass, when you cash in your ticket, they have to disclose the name.
Of course, of course.
Other states don't do that.
Well, as many people are quite aware, and I know you are, Patrick, I am totally against this proposed fascist propaganda, this fascist manifesto known as the proposed Home Rule Charter.
I was friended last week by the Fall River Home Rule Charter on Facebook, and I accepted. And last night I went to check out the page, and apparently they were poof, gone.
Yep.
I guess they didn't follow the rules.
Well, you know, hey, they haven't followed the rules on anything so far. You know, they were elected to represent the people and do the job, and they hired somebody else to do it. And that person would just bring, this is what we want, and they'd say, okay, 8 votes yay, 1 vote nay, almost all the time. And as many people always say, Danny Robillard is very negative and can't agree on anything. Danny was right on a lot of these nay votes. And had the rest of these people really looked at this, they would have said, okay, you're right. And now, of course, they're trying to spin this where, oh, what are we going to do? Use a pencil instead of using the computer? We're going to use a typewriter instead of the computer? Get real. Okay, do I think our charter is good? No. Do I think our current charter is good? No. Do I think we need to make some modifications to it? Yes. The voters of this city voted to change some portions of the charter.
Bring it up to date.
To bring it up to date, exactly. Not to change it in form and format, which is what this commission wants to do. And in doing this, this commission is stealing the rights of the people. And if you miscreants, you idiots, vote for this charter, you get what you deserve.
300 signatures for mayor, 150
you know that,
for
but that's just a small part of it. Okay, initially they wanted 1/3 of the voters to have any action take place. They want to present any citizens initiative petition first to the corporate council of the city to say if it's okay or not. Get real. We went through this with Liz during the Flanagan administration. Everything that was presented to her by the citizens was illegal, can't do it. My opinion is, and remember, opinions are like anuses. Everyone's got one and they all stink. Okay? But how can the citizens do anything? The mayor's going to propose this. It gets passed by the city council. The people don't want it. They sign the petitions. They present them to the city council to send it to ballot. to revoke it. Corporate counsel says, nope, got to go to me first. So he gets it and he says, nope, this isn't legal. You can't do it. What part of that is not legal? The people don't want it. You represent the people. Therefore, undo it or we will. Part of the first Article 5. I can never say that enough to these people in Fall River, but they don't want to hear it. And some of them make me sick.
Well, the same thing with the elections. You know, this year I'm encouraging everybody to bring their broom to the ballot box because we definitely need a clean sweep in the government in Fall River, starting at the top, going all the way
question
down.
about it. No question about it. I went to a meeting yesterday afternoon for a potential city council candidate. And I made it very clear to this individual. I said, you've got to have troops. I said, you've got to start off right off the bat with a minimum of 30 people so you can cover every ward in the city. You have to put together a financial plan. How much money you're going to spend, how much money you need to raise, and what you're going to spend it on.
And how are you going to raise it?
Exactly. And, you know, they look at you like deers in headlights because they don't understand that this isn't a game. The one mantra I give to everyone where I've worked the campaigns, whether I was the campaign manager, the strategist, the pollster, whatever the case may be, I've always given this one mantra. People don't like it, but it's the way it is. Kiss your husband or wife goodbye, because you're not going to see them for the rest of this election cycle. Kiss your children goodbye, because you're not going to see them for the rest of the election cycle. Grow a thick skin real fast, because you're going to be called everything under the sun. And if you can't handle it, you can't handle politics, get out of the picture.
And if you have vacation time, schedule it for election week.
Exactly. Because, you know, you don't, if you have a full-time job, you better expect to take off a lot of time. Because that's just the nature of the beast. And they get upset with that. I have a family to support. Well, if you want to be mayor, city councilor, school committee member, dog catcher, you got to put in the work. And if you're doing a 40-hour work week job, and a 60-hour work week in campaigning, where do you have time to sleep? And you have to make sure that you have properly assigned these roles.
Yes. Yep.
And you make sure that you've developed an excellent team of people to do the work. Now, I went to this meeting, and there weren't a lot of people, which is my first indicator that you may have some difficulty. But I understood afterwards that there was some events going on that a lot of people wanted to attend. There was a bike run. There was this, you know. But I turned around and I said yesterday to the people that were there, I said, here's the deal. You can't fire a volunteer.
Nope.
But they can quit. But if you're going to commit to this, you've got to commit to it. And you've got to let people know if you've got events coming up so that they're not counting on you. It's just like a job. People don't want to hear that. They just don't want to hear it. But
and of course, you'll be in constant contact with your campaign manager and finance person more than you are with your spouse or your significant other.
And you got to be in constant contact with the press. With the press, not just with press releases. You got to be on the phone with them. You got to be talking to them. You got to be giving them information, getting information from them, finding out what's going on. You have to show up at the opening of an envelope.
Yep.
And if you don't, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell. But people don't want to hear it. And they think that, oh no, you know, I'm going to vote for him because he's my friend. Well, that's what got us into this trouble. All you people who have voted for your friends all these years, thank you. That's why Fall River is such the crap hole that it is.
How many sandwiches does it cost for a vote now?
Exactly. You know? Well, no, they've actually upped it now.
What is
that
it,
happened
lobster roll?
That happened because of State Representative Kevin Aguiar, because he was feeding them carne de pollo altonjana, pork and little necks.
Oh, no.
And then all of a sudden it went from chow mein sandwiches and spaghetti dinners and ham and bean dinners to pork and little necks, chicken dinners.
And lobster rolls.
And yeah, and you know, it just got to be extreme. And while I appreciate the fact that the majority of the vote is where you have these coffee hour times, it's like, as I like to call them, but if you bring them coffee and donuts, they say, don't bother coming. We don't want that. They do. They tell you, don't come. We want a meal. We want food. And I can understand why. A lot of them are on fixed incomes, and that's okay. But how many of those people are going to actually vote for you? how many are going to actually vote for you? That will be, if 75 people show up, that may be 65 votes. Maybe 55 votes.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2, exactly.
They came for the coffee.
They came for the chicken dinner.
Oh yeah, those people will vote.
Okay.
But the coffee and dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know,
they come in, get the coffee, and they leave before the candidate talks.
But I'm very surprised at how quiet this political campaign season became all of a sudden. It was getting very heated and it was escalating rapidly. Then all of a sudden it kind of like went.
The bottom fell out.
Yeah, and just fell out. And I'm like, what happened here? Now, as many people remember, I spoke last week about the fact that, you know, the mayor's touting that the school department budget is 101% of net school spending. But thank you very much. And again, it's cost shifting. I received a lot of phone calls about this cost shifting. Okay?
You're talking about the fiction publication known as the Fall River Fiscal Year 18 budget?
The fairy tale.
Yes.
Which I opened, of course, I opened the weekend flush with once upon a time in a gloomy, poor, destitute, unemployed, crime-ridden, and drug-addicted city, with the people in great despair because they have a deceitful child emperor, an emperor who is known as the harbinger of false hopes and dreams, a child that throws tantrums and demands to get his way or else. This tyrant is known as Jester Constipation II, and he needs a good enema.
The whole government center needs a whole enema.
I believe that was from the movie Batman, when
Yes,
Joker turned around and said, "This town needs an enema."
And Fall River's government sure needs one.
Yes, it does.
Along with a forensic audit and the filing of receivership.
But over the weekend, I received not 1, not 2, not 3. Listen, Mr. Mayor, not 4. 10 times that amount of phone calls.
Mayor, be sure to call if you want to talk where the phone line is
Almost
open.
40 phone calls in regards to Bicentennial Park because the construction vehicles for Commonwealth Landing are parked in the boat ramp parking lot, which is a violation of the law. But I guess because it's Tony Cadero's deal and his property over there that they're working on, we can't enforce it. So I got the phone calls. I said, no, call Linda Pereira. Linda will take care of it for you. Because we know if you call the mayor, nothing happens. Because his administrative assistant, his secretary, who gets the big $8,000 pay raise for being a secretary because she's now answering constituent phone calls, which she did in the first place, is just going to say, okay, I'll get somebody right on it. Well, I think maybe Nancy Smith over at the park board, maybe the Fall River Police Department need to get on top of it, especially the environmental police, because according to the signs posted, you cannot park there if you don't have a boat trailer attached to your vehicle.
The park has jurisdiction over the boat ramp?
I don't know. That's the question. I know the environmental police do.
I don't think the park board does, but they have a meeting Wednesday night. We can definitely ask that at the meeting.
I think we need to ask that question. And you know, the bigger concern that I have is that if you or I or any other citizen parked their car there without a trailer and the environmental police came through, you'd get a ticket.
You mean I can't sit there and drink my Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
No,
and
you
read
can't.
My Herald Snooze?
Nope, you can't. Now that park has already been decimated by this CSO project. Okay, they cut it up, they moved did in the tennis courts. I mean, don't get me wrong, they rebuilt it kind of nicely and stuff, but not as nice as it could have been, not as nice as it was, but there were some improvements. But now the people can't even get, and remember, in Fall River you have to pay. You have to pay to put your boat in the water. Not only do you pay a mooring fee, you now have to pay a water usage fee.
What?
Yeah, you got to get a permit to run your boat up and down the Taunton River. Oh yeah, but if you can't get your boat in the water and you've paid this fee, shouldn't you be entitled to a refund?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a boat and you have issues with these fees, drive over to Swansea. They don't have these crazy fees.
Doesn't matter.
You pay
if the
$5 and you go in the water.
The thing is that the harbor master is required any boat, any seafaring vessel which goes across the waters in Fall River waters is required to make sure they have that sticker on their boat.
Unbelievable.
Even tourists.
So if I go drop my boat in the water in Swansea and I come over and go down the Taunton River like I'm going to Taunton, I have to have a Fall River sticker on the car?
I guess. I'm not quite sure how they enforce it, or not quite sure how they make it happen. But again, these are people who are all upset because it was a nice weekend, partially. Some people wanted to take their boats and their Sea-Doos and their, jet skis and everything onto the water, and they couldn't because they couldn't park their vehicles because there's construction vehicles there for a private entity. Park in your own damn lot, Mr. Cordero.
Who is politically connected.
Right, obviously politically connected.
Law.
I mean, that whole family, the Kudos and Cordero, they're so far up political backsides that when they burp, they fart. It's terrible. It really is. They're building 103 market rate housing units in that property. They don't even have parking available for the current tenants that they have, which are businesses.
Is this down by Jerry Remy's? And
it is Jerry Remy's.
The old Slades Ferry bridge?
Yep.
Is that car lot still there?
No, I don't think so. Might be. Might be.
If it is, it's a front.
I don't go there too. I don't go there too often. But
I remember that bridge.
Tonight there's a real estate committee meeting here in Fall River, and
also, the planning board is talking about the St. Vincent's property tonight as well.
Well, they've stopped any political input on that. No citizens can talk about it.
Nope, we're just going to screw you, taxpayer.
That's right. We're just going to turn around and make it happen.
Because the envelopes have been received. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, exactly. And the sad part about it is Mr. Paquette, the chairman of that planet, of these different boards.
Oh, planning board, yeah.
Okay, of these different boards. He's the chairman of the planning board. He goes, for this hearing, you only get 3 minutes. Really?
Public hearing by statute is open to the public, not
exactly.
3-minute citizens' input.
It's not citizens' input. But he keeps referencing it to citizens' input. Because again, people, this is what you call denying the citizens their rights. So it's obvious that Mr. Paquette is a fascist.
Well, we'll wait till the permit's issued. We'll go to court and challenge it. At the public hearing.
Well, I really would love to see the citizens of Florida start challenging the Zoning Board of Appeals.
That's a very interesting board because the Zoning Board of Appeals is empowered by the Commonwealth to decide who can violate the zoning laws of the city or town.
Correct. But
give me a reason why you have a hardship so that we can allow you to violate the zoning laws of the city.
Right. And the law is very clear that it can only be for soil, topography. Okay? Those are the only 2 reasons for a variance. Soil conditions and topography. Hardship is not self-created. So in other words, if you buy a parcel of land that does not meet the requirements of the zone, you're stuck with it. You can't file for a variance. And every time the zoning board grants that variance, they're violating the law. Now here's the thing. Every appeal to the court that has been filed against zoning variances has been found in favor of the plaintiff. No zoning board variance grant has ever been upheld. I have yet to find one. And do you know why? Because the hardship cannot be self-created. If you buy the land, if you subdivide the land, that's all you creating it.
Yep.
If you buy land in an industrial area and you want to make it a residential area, you created that problem. There is no hardship because you created it. So you have to use it for what it is or not.
You knew or should have known about the situation when you bought it.
Exactly. Caveat to beware.
If you buy a dog kennel in the middle of the woods, there's no customers coming.
Right. Like they say, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware.
Absolutely.
And you know, this is the big problem we have in Fall River. Everybody does what they want, and nobody says anything. And that's the big problem I have with the citizens of Fall River and the residents here. Because, you know, the opening of the weekend flush, while you may find it offensive and not very nice, nobody can argue that it's not true. Okay? Poor, gloomy, destitute, unemployed, crime-ridden, drug-addicted. Can you think of another adjective which will describe Fall River any better?
Poor, homeless, drug addicts.
Yeah, all already there. You know, this is the big problem. But
And of course, we got to talk about the budget and his amended budget now,
62 more pages.
which I haven't received under my open records request. I'm going to have to call the city clerk and find out why.
I do have them, by the way.
I don't have them yet.
Okay, I do have them, but I wasn't given them by the city.
No.
I was given them by several parties, which shall remain unanimously anonymous. Unanimously
We never
anonymous.
reveal our sources here
That's
on
right.
Spindle City Straight Talk.
That's right.
That's
And-
why so many people call us with open meeting law complaints and kickbacks and all kinds of corruption that they're afraid if they blow the whistle, they're going to lose their jobs. And we don't have a problem exposing corruption, spend the money for a retainer and get a good attorney because you're going to need one by
That's
the
right.
time we get done.
Because I crawl into spaces no man wants to.
You and I have both been in locations that people wouldn't even go if they could pay to get in.
I know, believe me.
And the
So
things we have seen.
I brought up the fact in the weekend flush that there are city councilors, incumbents, candidates for city council, candidates for school committee, who are driving around Fall River with their cell phones while they're driving, and they're Snapchatting. For those of you who don't know what Snapchat is a video or photograph that gets sent to all your friends, which a lot of candidates now are using Snapchat as part of their campaigns. As they're driving down the streets of Fall River, they're holding up their phone, paying attention to what they're videotaping instead of paying attention to the road.
I'm just waiting for one of them to hit my car.
I'm just waiting for one of them to hit a person. That's called distracted driving.
I know.
Okay? Now, I will be very honest to you candidates who I know are doing it because I've seen your Snapchats. I have not revealed your name yet. Notice the last word there, yet. If you cannot care enough for yourself, the passengers in your car, or the people who are walking in the streets of Fall River, you do not deserve to be elected to anything, including sewage waste management.
Amen to that.
I am so tired of seeing people at the stoplights going, "Bip, bip, 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 bip." You know what? This is not to be used while the car is running. You want to make your phone call, put it on speaker, drop the phone on the seat. That's what I do. I leave my phone on the seat. If it rings, I reach over, I touch it, it answers, and it's on speaker. That's the way it should be. If I have to look over at it, I'm going to hit somebody, possibly. I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt somebody. And don't get me wrong, I was guilty of it. And I've been guilty of it, where I've answered a text. But I always tried to use the hands-free functions of that. I'll hit, either on the headset or I'll hit the speaker button and I'll speak in what I want to say. I will be home in 15 minutes, send. It goes. Utilize the functions that are available to keep yourself, your family, your passengers, and the people of Fall River, and the people of other cities and towns safe.
The funny part is it's so easy to use the Siri speaker. Hey Siri, send CJ Ferry a text message. Call me after the show.
Your message to CJ Ferry says, "Call me after the show." Ready to send it?
Send it. That's how easy it is.
Yeah.
And you don't take your eyes off the wheel that way.
And people just don't understand that It is that easy. And I don't know if they don't understand it or they don't want to. And thank you, Patrick. I have your I have your text message.
It's very simple, and neither one of us were distracted from our duties here at Spindle City Straight Talk.
I hear you.
So there was a very sad situation in Providence overnight.
Yes, I noticed that.
Some moron has climbed up and put graffiti on the big blue bug that's been there for 30 or 40 years. I mean, the only authorized change is in the summertime. They put an awful cup because of the free buy one, get one free on Mondays. But somebody has put graffiti on both sides, and I'll tell you what, it would have been easier to rape a nun and get away with that, because they are going to find you and kill you.
And you know that last night, there was a shooting at a Burger King in Providence.
No, I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yep. Approximately 27 bullets were fired.
Which store?
I don't know. I didn't see which store it was in Providence, but it's in the city of Providence.
Probably Mount Pleasant or Broad Street.
Probably. But that happened last night. That was on the news this morning. Also, as I was driving into the studio, I received an alert from the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, which is in Florida, Orlando.
Another workplace shooting.
Another workplace shooting. I mean, this is getting nuts.
Employees started shooting up the boss, and 2 employees were in the ladies' room, locked the door, and they called the police and said, our boss just got killed, and that's how they got reported.
Yeah. I mean, this, is this the society we live in now, where it's absolute mayhem?
And London Bridge is really starting to fall down. I mean, this is crazy.
London Bridge is something, because, you've got, 3 issues in London now? Here's the thing. We in the United States feel that we don't have to worry.
We take freedom for granted.
We do. And the problem is, we used to think that before September 11th.
Yeah.
They're never going to attack the United States, but they did. And they actually attacked it prior to September 11th.
Yeah,
also at the World Trade Center.
Yeah, I was going to say the World Trade Center.
And so that was in the garage. Yeah. So you have these issues. Now, just because it's happening in London right now, you had London Bridge, you had Manchester. Just because this is happening in England doesn't mean that it can't happen in your backyard. Now, I'm not asking for it to happen in our backyard.
No,
but
let's
be
need to put the
realistic.
citizens on alert. If you see something dumb, call somebody. Don't see the package over by the bus station, just drive by and go, I wonder what that's there for.
Yeah, it's if you see something, say something. That's the old mantra. And
I mean, there are places in the city you drive by and the cars on the street, it's got an expired plate and 4 flat tires, and what's the police doing? Do they not notice that the car's got 4 flat tires? And the other thing that drives me nuts, 2016's registration sticker on cars was yellow. We shouldn't see any now.
Right.
I see them every day.
I know.
And the meter mics of this city, now they're writing tickets for expired inspection stickers.
Right.
So the money goes to the city instead of the split with the state, and they're
right.
okay with that. But when they're writing the tickets, do they even look at the expiration sticker and see if the car's registered and call it in and say, hey, I'm over here on Main Street and the car appears to be expired. Pull the thing off. It's nuts.
That'd be working.
I mean, they're writing the ticket anyway. They're looking at the plate. They're writing the ticket. They can't see the sticker says 16.
You're talking about them working.
That's common sense.
Chip will be back on Friday. We will have another guest, or the same guest, on Wednesday. If you got any complaints, don't hesitate to call us here at Spindle City Straight Talk. We always make sure that we get that information to the appropriate people. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to The Weekend Flush, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
Thanks for watching.